Hey guys, welcome to Life Theory Podcast. Today we're Can you get off your phone?
Dude, wait. Look at this. This Facebook post. See what it says?
Uh-huh.
It says, roll intro.
Okay, so we're actually going to be talking about ADHD.
Oh, you know the intro makes more sense now that you say that?
Yeah. And I was just realizing too, the title of the video.
But, yeah, of course. But yeah, we're talking about ADHD, which is something that I deal with that he does not.
Not at all.
Well, I mean, let me rephrase. You deal with it too.
I deal with it, but I don't have ADHD.
Yes, exactly. We want to this is kind of going to be like a grab bag of ADHD stuff of like, oh, what is it? How to deal with it? Things to avoid, things to remember from God's word. It's not going to be like a full comprehensive deep dive because like we're talking about like what we could dive into and all the little nitty gritty. It would go way too far and way too complicated. So similar to like our autism episode, we're not gonna go through everything. We're just gonna give a little grab bag.
Yeah. But
first,
before that, yes,
I want to know, what are we drinking?
I made a latte, and it is a maple brown sugar latte. That's what it is.
Okay. I think, what was it, 1 or 2 times ago, I said this was like the best latte you'd ever made. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It's this. Dude, it's so good. Mm-hmm. It's so weird because I think it's the brown sugar mixing with the espresso. Almost tastes like there's cinnamon in there.
Oh.
Wait.
Yeah, sorry. It's a maple brown sugar cinnamon. So.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about the cinnamon.
I was like, this is so weird. It tastes like there's cinnamon in it. I'm going crazy.
Oh, so I have 2 different flavor syrups.
Uh-huh.
One is maple and one is brown sugar cinnamon. I forgot about the cinnamon part.
Got it.
Yeah.
Weirdly, so I normally, as you know, don't like cinnamon in my coffee.
I forgot about that, actually.
You did? Yeah. Oh. But this, I love it in here. Uh-huh. Because normally, cinnamon has like a burnt flavor. Mm-hmm. When mixed with the bitterness of espresso. But for I don't know how you did it, but it doesn't have a burnt flavor. It tastes creamy. It tastes smooth. It tastes amazing. No notes. Legitimately, this is delicious. If you ever open up a coffee shop, this is your seasonal fall drink. Right alongside the pumpkin spice latte, so that I can have something that actually tastes good.
Yes.
All right. Enough about the drinks.
Yes.
Though they are delicious. ADHD. First of all, what even is it? Because I think we need to really figure out actual definitions and talk about what it's not as well. Because there's a lot of misconceptions about ADHD.
Yeah. So ADHD is an acronym. And it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Developed by it is a developmental disorder characterized by inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity.
So, yeah, developmental being it's something that like basically the idea is like you're born with it and it affects your development.
Yeah.
And then of course like inattentive. So issues with focus, attention, and attention is directly correlated with memory. So sometimes you don't remember things, not because you forgot it, but because you never remembered it in the first place.
Hyperactivity. That's kind of defines itself.
Yep, hyperactivity, but it can be like the hands, like, you know, needing to fidget, needing to move around, pacing. It can also be hyperactivity of the mind, of like your thoughts are always racing. You can't think about one thing for too long, or you always need to be stimulating yourself, like, you know, like the intro where we're kind of making fun of that. And so yeah, that's like huge, like hyperactivity. You always have to. And then the last, impulsivity. The regulation stuff.
Yeah, one part of kind of there's a definition on a much like deeper dive into the definition. But one thing that said impulsivity is it's very common with somebody with ADHD to interrupt into a conversation because the brain is going the part of that hyperactivity, and so
their brain is often going very fast, like, and then they think of something and they're like, oh guys, by the way, and then they say it before they realize they've interrupted the entire conversation.
Yep.
So yeah, there's that impulsivity. And it also applies to like everything, of like, maybe you spend too much money, maybe you eat food when you're not hungry, maybe you're quick to react, well, like interrupting, emotionally reacting. So emotional impulsivity, you get angry quickly, you get happy quickly, you fall in love quickly. That's actually very consistent with people with ADHD. So yeah, it's those three.
You randomly move things while you're talking or thinking, and then you'll come back later and be like, where is it? Because you look in the spot where it was, but you didn't even realize that you were moving it earlier, and so you moved it, and so it's not there anymore because you moved it over there.
It's like where'd my cup go? Like, not always that extreme, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I one time, for you guys, I'm not gonna show you my ID, but like, here, I'll use my school ID. I have my ID in here. One time, I accidentally put my ID in with my credit cards. And then I spent an hour and a half looking for my ID. Only to go, wait a minute. It's right here. Yeah. That was an annoying day. I searched everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the definition. Like, that is what ADHD is.
And from that definition, it's very clear that it's real. That's the first thing I want to attack. Or get at, which isn't specifically on here, but I do want to just right off the bat, because we actually have an interesting group, because the group we have, so much of the world is, I would say, overly obsessed with mental health, to a unhealthy degree, ironically. But I think there's some people in Christian circles that see that unhealthy reactionary type of view of mental health and almost go the other way of shutting it down and pretending it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So one thing is, ADHD is real. I'm not going to, we talked about this ahead of time. We're not going to talk about where it comes from or what it necessarily is, because it could be behavioral, it could be genetic. Like, there's evidence that it's behavioral, there's evidence that it's genetic, there's evidence that it's chemical, there's evidence that it's personality. Or it could be everything. It could be, bro, you just hit a 10. You hit a 10 in the, everything lined up, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So we're not going to necessarily talk about that, but it is clearly defined as being something that exists and is repeatable among multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it'd be interesting to talk about.
Yep.
But another thing it's not is an excuse.
Yes, a lot of people will like to use things like ADHD, or another
Even,
very common one is OCD.
yeah.
And they like to use ADHD kind of as an excuse, or kind of like a crutch. Like, something happens, and instead of
Mm-hmm.
taking the blame, or taking the fault for it, or
Yeah,
whatever.
taking responsibility.
Responsibility, that's the word
Yeah.
I couldn't think of. They'd be like, oh, my ADHD. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Which is a very empty apology.
yeah, it's not an apology. It's worded as an apology,
Mm-hmm.
but it's feel sorry for me because I have issues that I don't actually have.
Yeah. It almost when someone says something like that. Now they'll say it with a lot of different what are defined as like behavioral disorders as well. But it can apply to anything you have. I have ADHD, I have anxiety, I have depression, I have OCD, just whatever. I can even see it sometimes with autism, having worked with autistic people, is they almost turn it turn it into something they can't control that controls them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're saying it is a normal thing for this issue to control my life, and you should be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I wonder what the Bible says about that.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, I guess I
Right.
skipped down to that and then couldn't go back up.
Yeah. The biggest, most common verse
Which applies here.
that does apply is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
Yeah.
It's like we can't use a disability as, or a you know disorder as a crutch as to why I can't do something.
Exactly. You cannot allow ADHD, as some people do, to rule our life.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of, because the Bible even says we're supposed to bring our body into subjection,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the idea there is you do have issues, otherwise you wouldn't need to bring your body into subjection. And we are to look at those issues and say we need to fix them, and not let them rule our life, because otherwise they will stop us from living in a way that glorifies God, in a way that is productive, in a way that is kind. I know you've dealt with that.
Yeah, one thing I've seen as somebody who doesn't have ADHD, somebody who, but knows a decent amount of people who do, see the difference between somebody who just allows that hyperactivity, that impulsivity, just allows that to run their life.
Yeah.
Just allows themselves to get distracted by every little thing. They can't focus for more than 10 seconds on something. Instead of taking that hyperactivity, taking those mental functions, because when somebody with ADHD takes how their brain works and actually uses it, like, they can get some crazy stuff done.
Yeah. I was able to, what was those? I was able to memorize 30 verses in an hour.
Yeah.
Now, why did I do it in an hour? Well, because of my impulsivity and inattention, and this is bad on me, I waited till the last 2 days of quiz to memorize.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it within an hour, had everything memorized, and was able to quiz. So, when applied, it can be great. But also, when not applied properly, it can be not good at all.
Yeah. And very difficult to deal with on the other side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And just realizing, like, you gotta learn how to function properly with how your brain works. Because, like, if you know that, like, okay, I have this list of things that I need to get done.
Yeah, 10 things, say.
And I'm going to forget, tell me all 10 things. I'm going to forget 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Whatever 7 is.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like
out of those 10 things, I'm probably going to remember 4 of them.
Yeah. So if you know that's how your brain already works, write them down.
Yeah.
But when we seeing the difference between people who either run, don't let their mind, their ADHD run their life. You see, they get stuff done. They have learned how to work with it. And then you just watch people who have allowed their ADHD to run their life, and they don't get stuff done. They're constantly distracted.
Mm-hmm.
They're very difficult to work with. And
one thing that I didn't... I wanted to point out is also a lot of this stuff. You might be like hearing this stuff, be like, well, I'm not ADHD. How does this apply to me? One thing I've noticed is most of the things that people with ADHD deal with in abundance, everyone deals with to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that we're talking about, you'd be like, well, yeah, I do that, but I'm not ADHD, so it's fine. It's like, no, if you're doing these things, and if you're still like allowing your personality to rule your life, or allowing your brain to rule your life, using things as a crutch or an excuse, even things like, oh, I'm just a girl, or oh, I'm just a kid. It's like, no, you should still be responsible for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching this and you're like, either 1, you don't have it, or 2, you're like, maybe I do, but I have no clue, right? You can still take these and apply them everywhere in your life.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out, because I think, I didn't want to alienate people that could very much benefit from this.
Mm-hmm. So what are some things that can be applied for somebody who has ADHD and who's trying to learn how to not let that rule their life or run their life?
Couple of things you can work on. The number one thing to know is that, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, ADHD is not an obstacle or an impassable thing. It is a challenge. It's not a mountain that you have to go around. It is a rock you have to carry. Mm-hmm. Right? I like using the analogy of muscles. Right? Super easy analogy, because some people it's easier to build muscle than others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was having this conversation with my roommate. It is easier for me to build muscle than my roommate. But my roommate is stronger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Because he goes to the gym every day. Or he goes to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week. And I just walk my dog.
Yeah.
So he is putting more effort in to make up for maybe what you could call a deficiency or a disability physically. Mm-hmm. It is harder for him to do things than for me.
Yeah.
But it's taking responsibility for those things. So the first thing to remember is that ADHD is a challenge to be overcome. Mm-hmm. So you should also make sure, remember that just because you're weak in these areas doesn't mean you can't improve. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not a static issue. That's actually very well defined as a developmental.
Yeah.
You can develop through it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the same thing, is disabled doesn't mean you're not able.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what can you improve? You can work at it and work with it. I like that. The two areas. Work at it, so work on ways to have better focus. Maybe it's not being on your phone as much. Maybe it's setting timers and stuff like that. There's a lot of different tricks to work on different things. Or like setting rules for yourself, working on being less impulsive. And then work with it, which is like tasks and calendars and reminders. It's, I know I'm not going to remember it, or I know I just can't focus on it. So I'm going to find other ways to allow me to still be responsible and still accomplish it. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, I know I'm impulsive. I made a horrible decision once in signing up for a martial arts gym after, what was it, one or two classes? Because I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so fun. Because I used to do martial arts. And he was talking about, like, if you sign up right now, you get 30% off. You get this, you get that. And I was like, that looks so cool. I really love the idea. So I did. I signed up. And I got locked into an annual plan. And then I didn't like the martial arts. I really didn't. Mm-hmm. And so after 3 months, I said, I can't, I don't want to, I quit. And he charged me half of the annual plan. It was like $2,000 I paid to stop being there.
Yeah.
Because I was impulsive. And so I actually set a rule, which is any major decision, any major purchase, I have to wait 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Always have to. And no matter what, if someone was trying to sell me something that I didn't already walk in to buy, so whether it's a sales rep at like a shoe store, or whether it's something online, or someone, on the phone when I'm just looking for information, mm-hmm. I have a rule that no matter how small the purchase is, I always have to walk away first and wait till the impulsivity subsides and I can actually think about it. Mm-hmm. So that's like working with your brain. And like I talked about tasks. I have a ton of tasks. Or calendar events. It's wonderful. Then I can know, oh wait, what's going on today? Oh, I have a wedding. No, I can't be there. Like, it's literally happened before. Oh, you want to come hang out? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wait, don't you have a wedding this weekend? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, your sister's getting married.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to talk about that. But work on yourself, and figure out. Prayer helps. Mm-hmm. Bible reading helps. It's weird because it has practical effects of prayer. You're in one spot. You're focused on one thing. Mm-hmm. And it helps train your mind to focus. That's actually part of what yoga was used for. Mm-hmm. But prayer is a better version of that because, well, for obvious reasons, but also because instead of being focused on yourself, you're focused on something else. Mm-hmm. Something higher. So actually prayer can help your mental health.
Yeah.
So you want to focus more? Pray more.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you can do as a person with ADHD. Mm-hmm. And one other thing to point out is also if you're like really upset, right, about having it, being ADHD, or maybe you don't like, you're like, well, I don't know if I have it, but I have a lot of the things, and these habits are really bothering me. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could just get rid of it. The Bible has a really good perspective on infirmities, as the Bible defines them.
Yeah. And that is 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 9. This is Paul writing his letter to the Corinthians. And he says, starting in verse 7, "And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations."
In other words, the books he wrote and the influence he had.
Yeah. "There was given to me a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly therefore will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me."
Which is huge. Because a lot of our world, it's interesting because they, it's gonna, well, it's not even political, but it sounds political. A lot of our world acts like they care about mental health, but their entire goal with mental health is get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of the problem. That's it. End of story. However we get there to get rid of it, whether it's therapy, which has some validity, drugs, which has a lot less validity from what I've seen, changing their environment, it doesn't matter what it is. They just want to get rid of the problem. And the Bible's like, well, maybe not. Maybe the Lord, because to be clear, ADHD, I would say, is in some areas a disorder. It does, in the legitimate ways, inhibit your life. It's an infirmity. An infirmity that can also be used for very good things, like creativity. Amazingly creative. Most ADHD people are.
Yeah.
But the Lord says, if you have infirmities, I can use that too. I can use your weakness to give me glory. So rather than trying to just get it to go away, maybe pray about it. Ask the Lord, like, how do you want me to use my infirmities? Whether it's a physical infirmity, you're short, you're whatever, you got issues. Like, who knows what it is? Or whether it's a mental infirmity, autism, ADHD, whatever. There's the list goes on. How does God want to use you, including your infirmities, to give him glory? So always keep that in mind. Even when actively, because I think you should, actively trying to become more like Christ, which includes working through your issues and your challenges.
Yeah. So those are really, really great ways to how to work through dealing, having ADHD or something to that effect. But then there's people who are on my side of things, and
behold, the lack of ADHD.
and we have to deal with ADHD from the outside.
Yeah.
We have to, maybe we live with somebody who has ADHD.
Maybe you're married to someone that has ADHD.
Thankfully, I'm not. I don't know if I could handle it on that level.
Or maybe you just, have friends.
Yes.
That are ADHD.
Friends, relatives,
Siblings.
coworkers.
So, anyone that's, there was one person, the YouTube channel How to ADHD. I don't recommend everything on it, but she has some very good things to say. And she would call the ADHD people the brains, and then people that care about ADHD people are hearts. So I'm the brains, you're the heart.
Nice.
The person is so what do the hearts do?
So I think there's kind of just pretty much just three big things. Like, these are big things to follow, and they really just help with everything, with being a good friend or having good interactions with people who have ADHD.
Yeah.
The first and the absolute biggest is be patient. Because our brain works in that straight line. We work with one thing to the next. Their brain goes over here, over there. It comes back over here to where they're supposed to be, but then it goes back away again. And
I think of ADHD brain like a tree with many branches. That's how our thought process is. Or a vine with many offshoots, many branches. We have the core thoughts like you. But then there's so many other thoughts connected to them.
and your thought process is a squirrel on that tree.
Yep. Yes.
But yeah, be patient. Like, don't get mad at them. Be like, you gotta be patient and just be like, okay, gotta understand. They'll, as long as you're patient with them,
They'll get back to where they're supposed to be.
The second thing, which kind of fits with that, is don't over-explain. For me, and I don't think this is for everybody, but for me, when this has a process, tell me the entire process, and then I'll go in and do it. That's how my brain works. ADHD does not work like that. So, when you tell them, okay, here's the process, here's steps 1 through 10, they'll do step 1, and then when you come back, they're on step 6. You're like, wow, that was fast. And then you realize, wait a second, something looks wrong. Hey, did you do step 1? Yeah. Did you do step 2? Yeah. Did you do step 3? Say what now? What about step 4? Nah, you didn't say that. Yeah, I did. Did you do step 5? Oh yeah, I did that. And you're on step 6 right now. So, like, because when you were explaining steps 1 through 10, their brain heard step 1 and 2.
And then 2 reminded them of a NASCAR race that they're really interested in. Yeah. And that lasted for 5 minutes, which is the amount of time it took you to explain step 3 and 4. And then they realized you're still talking. And then locked back in for step 5.
Yeah. So, if you have a whole process that you can't be with them step by step, write it down and be like, follow this. When you finish a step, check it off.
Yeah. And, like, along with that, is like accountability, and like be like, if you say something that has to happen further in the future, it's another thing that can be difficult. Of put this in your calendar. Make a task for this. So it's still putting a responsibility on them. Yeah. Because also you're not going to baby them. You're not going to be an enabler. But understanding that they're not just going to get it all the time.
Yeah. Work with them.
Yeah.
Work with anybody. And then the third one, don't feel like you're better than somebody who has ADHD. It's very easy to have that feeling of like, well, I'm better than you because I don't get distracted all the time. People aren't constantly asking, where's Andrew? Because I'm always here doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's like, don't feel like you're a better person for not dealing with the same thing, because usually there's something else that we're dealing with. Yeah. That is just as irritating to somebody else.
It very much can be. There's certain things that, like, I've talked to other people where I'll get really irritated with something that no one else gets irritated with. And I'm like, what in the world? And so there is definitely, like, we all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. So humility, go back to the last episode, can be very helpful in that.
Yes. So those are kind of just, when you're dealing with somebody who's got ADHD and you don't, those are kind of the biggest broad brushing things that are really helpful when working with somebody who has ADHD?
First of all, you saw one of me improving in one of the topics, which is not interrupting people. Second of all, I thought of one more thing that kind of fits into a couple of them, but is separate enough that I thought it would be worth mentioning. Be interested.
Yes.
Right? Rather than assuming, be interested in why. Because, and I've noticed this with everyone. Like, for instance, I went on a journey. So my brother is autistic, and I went on a journey to understand autism, which, despite pop culture, nothing to do with ADHD. They're very separate. But I went on a journey to like figure it out, because for a while it was just kind of like, whoa, cool, he's like different, and then it's like, oh, this is kind of annoying because he's different. But then I was like, okay, I want to help him, so I need to understand him. And so I became interested in why he does what he does. Where is his limitations? Why are they limitations? Where are his strengths? And I started understanding more about autism and why it works and why it doesn't. And it's very fascinating, because it was a world I had no clue about, that now, like, I'm working with autistic people every day. We went to a meeting, a special education meeting, and I actually had the opportunity to explain to my peers things that they didn't understand, that I understood, not because I'm smart, but because I was curious. And I got to know people with autism. And the same thing, I think, can definitely apply to ADHD. Like, if you really want to help someone with ADHD, get to know them.
Yeah.
Get to know why they are the way they are.
And that reminded me of one other thing, is that it's a very common trait. It's not only with people with ADHD, but it is very common with people with ADHD, is they get super interested about random things at random times.
Impulsivity.
And so they will come and talk to you for 3 hours about this random thing that they got super interested in, went and did a deep dive into that topic. Be interested, because this is an opportunity to learn a lot about something that you didn't know about, and now you know, because they did all the research.
That's true. Honestly, two of your best skills. Like, I think, like, you got 3 hobbies that you're very good, or 3, like, skills that I think you're very proficient at. Sound, like, camera tech, and coffee. And 2 out of 3, you got introduced to them by me.
Yep.
The sound you already had down, but, like, the other 2, I was like, dude, okay, so with the video, also, now you're my director. You got to learn everything about cameras. Like,
Yes.
It's like, hey, dude, guess what? We should make lattes. We should figure out how to make, and now you make amazing lattes. Because because you decided to be interested in one of my random rants.
Yeah. And see, I learned so many things without. I don't like studying.
I love studying. I actually, it's hilarious. So I love studying things that I'm interested in. And I talked about autism, how I'm interested in it. And I thought, I did this thing, and I thought it was almost cheating. So, because to become a registered behavioral technician, which is the first job I had, there is a nationally recognized test, or like a government test you have to take to get your certification. And it's like a 90-minute test. It's fairly intensive, so you have to know your stuff. And so I watched some videos about how to prep for the test, and then I watched some more videos about ABA in general, applied behavioral analysis. And then I created a cheat sheet. I was I almost felt like, this is kind of cheating because I'm just like writing down the information and I'm looking at it. And then of course like I didn't have it in the test, but I'm just gonna memorize the cheat sheet and then I'll know.
Yeah.
It's like, haha, I'm sneaky. And I showed someone it. It's like multiple pages of notes of every single acronym. It's what the acronym means and the definition of that acronym. And then every single behavior type, how to record it, how to log it, how to graph it, what ethics are. And I went through all this. I was like, yeah, look at my cheat sheet. Like, and I've been like sharing it with people, and someone else in college, they saw it and they're like, that's what notes are, dude. You just studied. I was like, oh really? But I was just so interested that I was like, this is so interesting, and I wrote it all down.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you're interested in what they're interested in, sometimes they'll do a lot of work for you.
Yeah. Yep. So we could go on a whole long time.
We could. There's so much to talk about, and it's so fun.
It's already been a long podcast.
It's a very long podcast. Wow.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. As you can tell, we're both interested in this topic.
Yes. We're both kind of obsessed with it.
Yes.
The last thing we have to point out before leaving you.
Yes.
Which we kind of have already talked about, but I just want to say it very directly. And I want to say it, as someone that has ADHD, has dealt with it, understands the benefits of knowing what it is, the benefits of even understanding the label and why it exists. Because I'm not against labels, but they can be dangerous.
Yeah.
We should not be defined by ADHD or by anything else. Our only definition, our only identity should be through Christ.
Yeah.
It says, it's a wonderful thing that we should be called the sons of God. Or that Abraham was called a friend of God.
Yeah.
Right? That should be our glory. That should be the thing that we, what are you? I'm a Christian. I'm not a depressed person. I'm not an ADHD person. I'm not an anxious person. That's not what defines me. That's why it's a challenge to overcome. Because we are pressing towards our identity. Christian, it means Christ-like.
Yes.
Our identity and the thing we should strive to identify with is Christ. And sometimes it can be difficult. For me, it was hard. Actually, my roommate helped me with this. Like, a lot of my identity was wrapped up in my labels, in being ADHD specifically, right? And a couple of other things. And he's like, I don't like that. Well, and he wasn't even saying that about me, just in general, because we had to have conversations about labels. And he's like, because, like, that it makes you feel like you can't change it. But that's also, that he was right.
Yes.
And I realized that because whatever your identity is in your head, it's permanent. So I am ADHD. I am ADHD, not I have it. Like, we have a cold. We aren't a cold.
Yeah.
That's not what defines us. And because of that, no, I'm a person who goes to work. I'm responsible, which means we will get better and go to work because we want to. And the same way, it's not I am an ADHD person. I have ADHD, but I'm a child of God. So I'm going to work on this because I want to glorify God. I'm going to work on this because I want to be a good friend, because God says we should be. I'm going to work on this because I want to be a good husband, because God says we should be. I want to be a good son, a good brother. I want to be a good Christian. I want to praise the Lord. And because of that, I do have this issue. But this issue is not as important as my walk with the Lord. So I'll try to overcome it. Because that's where identity will come. If our identity is anywhere else, we will end up most miserable.
Yes.
All right, that was a very long one. As often, if we get interested in a topic, yeah, it can go long.
Yes. But thank you guys for sticking around.
Absolutely. If you made it this long, you're one of the fam. You're one of the theorists. No, someone already stole that.
How dare they? We'll see you again next week, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.